figured this is the part where we're supposed to say something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best answer you can provide?
I don't know. The best part about this is that I can all edit this later, so...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So most people won't be able to hear this part unless we decide to include it just for shits and giggles.
Bonus.
I mean...
bonus gags.
Welcome everybody to the blooper reel of the Blu-ray edition that you won't buy. You'll just see it on like some random pirated website. That's how things normally go. This this is the kind of environment we like to introduce with anybody who won't listen, because nobody will listen to this. Let's just be real here. So I now that I think about it, I don't think I've ever met somebody who has heterochromia.
Yeah. I mean, it's the fact that it's such an uncommon, like, genetic disorder, but that it really does actually absolutely nothing. It's just appearance-wise.
I mean, I'm trying to think about anybody who I've met who has had two different eye colors.
Yeah.
But it won't. I think I met somebody who was kind of close to it. Someone who, you know how if you have blue eyes, it's extremely rare. If you have green eyes, it's more rare, right?
Yeah.
Or am I mistaken about that? I remember seeing somebody who had...
Depends on genetics, but...
I remember seeing somebody who had pale silver eyes, like gray, as in look metallic. I don't know if that's more rare.
That is oddly weird.
Yeah, but I mean, it looked beautiful. You know what? Since we're on the topic of eye color, straight up, what is the eye color that most intrigues you? Like, what eye color do you need to see for you to be like, yes, that's the nice one?
Probably, I would have to say green on that.
Green?
Yeah.
You know,
like not like a specific, like a green as on like emerald green or something on lines of that.
I have the picture, so it's like grass green.
Yeah.
Like that kind of grass. Okay. We talking about California drought or very well maintained? We'll go with the well maintained.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, now see, I'm gonna have to hit you with the generic answer, which is gonna be the all eyes are beautiful. That being said, you gotta go with blue. You get like a neon blue. Oof. I want it to look like the Mediterranean. Seriously, I feel like you could just start fishing out of the eyes. They're so deep and majestic and beautiful. Oh my god.
That's quite weird, honest. That's a very descriptive description of that, honestly.
Yeah, so I want to make sure that you get an image right in your head. It's very, very beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that of the mountains of Kong, a West African mountain started on maps for nearly 100 years? It was later discovered that the mountains never existed and were made up by the original cartographer.
Yeah, that's almost as weird as saying that the Spanish originally thought California was an island.
Yeah, I remember reading about that.
Yeah.
What else? I'm trying to see. You said that you would keep topics to discuss. So
yeah,
humor me with these topics that you've developed over time.
All right. Well, mainly I just thought of these last night, like 10 minutes before I went to bed.
That's when you have the most rational thought, is when you're extremely sleep deprived and you pass out 2 seconds later.
That's half true, for sure. Probably, especially the German elections were quite interesting.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh, whoa! Do you see this? China just ordered their North Korean firms, or ordered North Korean firms based inside their country to close down within the next 4 months.
That's quite nice.
Whoa. It's interesting.
Less chance of us getting nuked.
Yeah. And before... Now this comes to the part of the podcast where we're going to have a professional who understands entirely the geopolitics of the North Korean crisis to come in and discuss with us. Bubsy, tell me, you think North Korea will ever pull the trigger?
Well, the whole perception of it is that essentially the only, like, Kim Jong-un, even though he seems like he's stupid, he's actually secretly brilliant in a dic- dictatorship sort of way, if you're following along.
Humor me.
Essentially, what he's doing is that as long as he has nukes, I'm making the quotient things with my hands at the moment, but nobody can see it. He essentially nobody can really touch him because he can threat
Yeah,
neighboring
that's true.
nations and stuff.
I've seen a lot of people talking about that. How in
Yeah.
cases like Libya as well as Iraq, anytime they did not possess a nuclear weapons program and willingly ended up giving up their programs, it
Yeah.
always resulted in regime change.
Oddly
It's
enough,
not surprising.
for
It's not surprising that Kim Jong Un is putting so much emphasis to it.
yeah,
But see, the thing is though, right?
yeah,
Is I've asked a lot of people about how exactly like Bubsy, congratulations, you are now the president of the United States, right?
yeah.
And now you're in office, and even though you're way too young to be in office, we're just gonna assume for the sake of example that people are
Mhm.
willing to die for you in the military.
Yeah.
We can be honest, that'll never happen, but let's just say it does. uh how do you remedy the situation in North Korea?
Well, first off,
Because
the obvious strategy is, well, one, to just completely, because essentially all their main defenses and stuff that can actually hit like Seoul, which I think is like
mm,
50, 25 miles away from the DMZ border thing. If you
yeah,
set if
Seoul is right in the range of their artillery.
Yeah, essentially, if you bomb the living hell out of like that front line of artillery and stuff, you could essentially just disable their only real defense that they actually have.
No, but I mean that's a bit foolhardy to say
It is,
though,
yeah,
because
it is. I'm not a military genius, obviously.
North North Korea has a lot of really intricate and interesting country security features that you don't really that I've never actually read about or seen anywhere else. It's like, for example, you know how with any communist regime they have to have a lot of statues of their leaders.
Yeah,
You know, North Korea is no different, but they take it to the next level with how many statues that they have. But the interesting thing is that within every single one of those statues, which are conveniently based on the major roads, they are armed to the brim with TNT at the base.
oh wow.
Meaning, if there were ever to be an invasion by the West or the US or South Korea, even,
Yeah,
they'll just blow up the statues and prevent enemy armor from advancing along the path.
yeah,
It's quite smart actually when you really think about it. I like thing is right is I'm sure you've seen the like we talked about the photo of Kim Jong Un when he was photoshopped
yeah.
to
The
not have
skinny
much
Kim
weight.
Jong Un.
Um, for for anybody who wants to see the photo, you just search it up. It is very
I'll put it in later. Or,
it
uh,
it it,
uh,
it
for anybody who's watching this, there's the photo right there. Uh, yeah,
he's a sexy man. If you look at the fingers, you can even see that they photoshopped that as well. They
yeah.
actually photoshopped the fingers to make them less chubby, and it blows me away someone had that much attention to detail.
I mean, you have to.
Um,
People are really good at that sort of thing.
no, it's incredible how good people are at it. Like genuinely, it's amazing, and
Yeah,
it looks natural too, which is the crazy part. Because most of the time you see somebody that's like modeling, who uses Photoshop, it doesn't look fake.
yeah. It's
However, back to the main thing here. While he is doing really stupid shit, which is threatening the U.S.
yeah.
when he knows that there's somebody who has a short temper,
Hmm.
overall, when you look at the bigger picture, he's put himself in I won't say a remarkably good position, but in a great position to maintain his regime. Because
Yeah,
anybody who is rational will easily not make the decision to invade North Korea because Seoul, I believe, has like a population of I think it's like 10 million, 15.
it's
Hold
like
on,
more
I'm gonna
than
ask
it's more.
Siri.
It's pretty much more. I think it's more
What
than
is the
the actual.
population of Seoul, South Korea?
Hmm,
Mm.
hmm. That's a large. I
Hmm.
think actually the entire population of North Korea is like 15 million as well. But
Hey
still,
Siri, what is the population of North Korea?
As of 2018, population of North Korea is 24,895,000.
still a significant number, honestly. But still,
The thing that blows me away though is how theoretically the US ever wanted to, they could just bomb North Korea and they'd be perfectly fine. We're still at war. Like
by their standards,
genuinely,
technically, yeah. Or actually, no.
like
We ever we only signed like an armistice or something.
exactly. So theoretically, we want to. We could just,
Yeah, so
oh, we could have sworn you fired the first artillery. Sure,
it's like Russia and Japan,
sure,
who were
yeah.
technically at war until 2011.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Didn't they have to sign a new treaty
They did
to
because
invalidate that?
all they signed was like a hey, just give us Manchuria and we'll just not kill the rest of you, essentially.
Wait, so do you have any idea what the background on that was?
Okay,
Um,
I remember essentially, uh, what happened was is that the USSR invaded Manchuria with like 3 million troops, and taking lessons that
mhm.
they learned from the Germans, essentially used their own tactics of mainly just a big army of armor just straight across the border and like over the hills and such to completely catch the Japanese off guard.
I see. I don't remember what movie it was, but I saw a clip on YouTube of a portion of a movie
Wait,
where it
it
was
was the
basically
one was like it was the bonsai charge where all the men like drove like trucks full of gasoline into the Soviet tank.
yes, and then
Yes,
they would
that
like
was
go up to the
yeah,
tank and sit underneath with a grenade.
yeah. It was like
The crazy part is as well. Like at first you're like, oh, this is just a movie. There's
yeah,
no way that this is historically accurate.
it,
No,
it
no, they actually just suicide charged the tanks and were just taking them out like a champ.
yeah.
Uh, I love how a conversation about North Korea quickly divulged into a conversation about Japanese devotion.
Well, this is how
That
these things
being
work.
said, I just could you imagine being in that position? Like, I'm surprised that anybody in the Japanese army was capable of making it to the position of
Well,
general or
yeah,
admiral. Like, if you lose one battle, executed on the spot, kill yourself. That's
yeah.
that's how it is,
That's how
and
it
you
works,
could be
man.
damn sure that they had serious problems with their structure.
Yeah,
Like, I remember towards the end of World War II, Japan at least ended up having a serious problem where the emperor was being threatened with a
yeah.
coup against the government if he would not surrender. But by then the bombs fell, and I don't think he had a choice in the matter. But it
Yeah.
it I don't remember who exactly was the one who was instrumenting the coup because it was kind of declassified a while ago. However, what I do know is that uh, they were going to use the previous shogunates in Japan as like their casus belli, and in order to rally the people behind it. Because I mean, in general, it's not really a change of policy if you just
Yeah,
reestablish a shogunate.
I mean, yeah, technically it was a constitutional monarchy, so why just throw the constitutional part out of it and make it a military dictatorship, which it was kind of already was, but still.
It's like the fact of that someone told me. I think it was yesterday. No, not even yesterday. I believe it was like 3 days ago, where they said that technically Japan was not a fascist nation.
Yeah, they weren't. They were just empire essentially. They were like the Brit. It's like essentially the same style of government as the British Empire.
They had a constitutional monarchy, which is
It blows your mind.
interesting to say the least. You'd expect them to be cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I guess that's not a thing. Uh,
Yeah.
copyright. Insert copyright here.
Insert.
Uh,
By the way, I'd like to. We are sponsored by Cocoa Puffs, so we are letting. No, we're not.
make sure to buy as many Kellogg products as possible.
Yes.
They're very good.
Yes. We've received check of $25 million for advertisements. Uh,
For the
for the Cocoa Puffs ad. Yeah. Sadly,
for,
we have to admit they use slave labor in some nations for cereal, so we're gonna have to
and they take
gonna
all the
have to
water
hold
as
that.
well. Don't forget
Yeah.
that part. It's also very important. We like having open discussions here.
Open. Yeah.
I mean, if by some miracle someone ends up finding this podcast just somewhere on YouTube, like one subscriber, two subscribers, and is like, I'm gonna watch this podcast. I'm gonna make it this far into it. And I'm gonna, you know what? If any, I'll say this now. If anybody makes it this far, I'll give them 3 free boxes of Kellogg's on me. I'll send them whatever supermarket. I'll send them the value that they need to be able to buy 3 boxes of.
Yeah.
You know what? It can be Captain Crunch too. I don't even care. I'm willing to take the bullet.
Yeah.
Um, there was another thing that I recently learned about Japan, which is that the conviction rate for any offenders, if they're brought to trial, is nearly 99%. I'm pretty sure it's only marginally off 100%.
Oh boy.
And it it suddenly dawns on me that when you think about it, you don't really hear about crime in Japan, do you?
No.
Like, really think about it. You know, Russia's got crime. You know, China's got crime. The UK, France, Germany. Uh, Hell, even the U.S. is leading the charge in prison population. But
Yeah.
Japan, I,
No,
maybe it's because the population's too old and they're all dying out. That's why they're not physically fit enough to do it.
yeah.
I won't be surprised by like the end of 2050 that everybody in Japan's just dead. They didn't reproduce enough. Nah. There goes our anime, man. It's all over from there. You lose Japan, you lose Western culture right there. How else will you be able to get a Crunchyroll sponsorship?
That is a
Huh?
good point.
Bubsy?
Hey, I don't watch anime.
Uh,
Well, I used to, but not a lot.
I never even tried it. I just know that it's not for me. It's not my cup of tea.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like closest equivalent is Pokemon. But even that's not. You wouldn't really even classify that as an anime. I haven't watched that since I was
I
like
would
8 years old.
classify it.
But
It's the style that's behind it, really.
but would you though? Would you though?
I would.
So would you classify if you played on a Game Boy as being an anime?
No, because that's
Exactly. So
different.
you're just no, you're just stupid. You just don't know what you're talking
No, it's
about.
different.
No, you just don't know what you're
It's
talking about, Bubsy,
different.
okay? No,
Ah!
listen. If you play a game, okay,
Yeah.
and it is set in a certain universe,
Yeah.
then you watch a TV show that's set in that universe.